7 o'clock. Good evening, everyone. We're going to start our November business meeting of the Rittner School District, your school district. And first thing we're going to do is declare a quorum. As you can see, we have 100% attendance on the board. And then we're going to move on to adoption of the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have an agenda. Next thing is 1.04, which is our Pledge of Allegiance. And I understand we have a large group to help us tonight from Booter and Marvin. So please step forward and let's help say the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. All right, guys. Guys, all good? Want to squeeze in a little bit? Let's tighten up a little bit. If anyone wants to step up here and take pictures of your child or anything, feel free to do so. Don't be bashful.
Okay, guys, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great job. Great job, TJ. Great job. What's your name, sir? Good job.
Oh, guys, don't forget to get your certificate. TJ, give a certificate. Boys, don't forget to get a certificate. Did you get a certificate?
This is for you because you guys came back here tonight and said the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready now, guys. Yeah, I would appreciate that.
Marvin Elementary. All right, I like those shirts. I like the shirt. I really do. I like yours too. That's very cool.
Announcement.
I like that one too, yeah. Well, that's all right. Here, you were here, right? Here you go.
Oh, I love
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Thank you.
Limited edition. All right. Good.
Oh.
Sign more. I got some left over. Okay, and we are honored tonight to have not one, but 2 of our wonderful schools here to be School of the Month. And I'm going to just turn all this over to Dr. Kilbright, because he'll orchestrate all this stuff, and we'll just sit back and be amazed.
Board members, we have 2 schools with us tonight, Booter and Marvin. We're going to start with Booter, with Dr. Singleton and also Dr. Gunn that are in attendance here tonight with fabulous students and staff, and we'll turn the floor over to them. Just a reminder, Dr. Singleton, when students come up to speak, if they can come up closer to this table so the board can hear them well. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
So can my Booter students and my teachers and Dr. Gunn and Mr. Tate all come up here so I can introduce you all? Okay, guys. So tonight we have a wonderful group with us, Dr. Gunn, our assistant principal. We have Miss Kuhn, who is a parent and a teacher at our school. Miss Robinson, who is our Refocus Room Social Emotional Behavioral Interventionist, which I know you've heard a lot about. Mr. Tate, our school counselor. Miss Borland, who is a teacher with special school district in our school. So we've got a large variety of people today. We have also an amazing group of kids. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves? Would that be okay to say your name?
Michael, Joshua,
TJ. Great. And we also have a friend in the crowd too, right? Edward's back there too. Edward, can you wave? Yay. Edward's feeling a little shy, but he's here also. Today we wanted to bring something that crosses over all of our entire school, our special school district, our refocus room, our counselors involved, all of us are part of this, and especially our students. So we wanted to present to you zones of regulation. Guys, does this picture look familiar? Is this in all of our classrooms at our school?
Yeah.
Yes. And so this is what we call the zones of regulation. It's actually a curriculum, and I can pass this around, that we use throughout the district. I'll pass that around so you can get a look at it. And so each zone represents a feelings and a group of feelings and emotions. What zone do we really want to be in, guys?
Green.
Why do we want to be in green?
To be happy all the time.
Be happy? Why else?
Because it makes you be good and have good grades.
Oh, I like that. Good grades when we're in green. What else?
And focusing.
Focus. We are focused when you're in the green zone.
You get the job done.
I love that. We get the job done. And then if you're feeling blue, what does that kind of feel like?
Sad.
Sad?
Bored.
Bored?
Tired.
Tired?
Something like
Maybe something somebody else has said, like when you're kind of sleepy.
yes.
Sleepy is kind of blue, isn't it? And so,
Feel
sick. Absolutely. When you're, that's absolutely true. What about the green zone? How are we feeling when we're in the green zone?
happy and proud.
Proud, happy and proud. I love that.
Calm.
Calm,
Ready to learn.
ready to learn. It's okay. It's okay. What about when you're, what about, you got one?
Ready to concentrate and listen to the teacher.
Did you guys hear that? Concentrating to the teacher. And so some of our students have been doing zones of regulation for a couple years now, right? Zones of regulation was very much started in our special school district, and it really has grown because we saw the effects of it, and which has been amazing. So it's a curriculum that's geared to helping students gain skills in regulating their actions, which helps them with control and problem solving. And Booter students, we know we're good problem solvers, right? And so it's in all of our settings, and it really helps us meet the needs of our students. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Tate. Here's a resource he uses in the counseling department.
So pretty much this is a picture of the behaviors, and we ask kids to point to how they feel, and it shows the behaviors that they may be feeling at that time. And so what we do, we just ask for them to point to how they feel, because a lot of times they can't articulate at that moment because they're so dysregulated.
So this is using the popular Inside Out character. So you might recognize that. That's another way that we just kind of made it responsive to our students and really appropriate. And you can see in this particular classroom, the students self-identify and they put themselves on a Post-it note. And when they're not feeling regulated, they can move their Post-it note to how they're feeling, and it alerts the teacher, hey, I'm not feeling all here. Like, I need some help. Guys, I don't think this is any of your classrooms, but I bet, I'm going to put the Booter students on the spot, so I'm a little nervous here. I see an area underneath the zones that has pillows and a soft rug. What do you think that area is? Oh, I got two students that know. What is that area?
It's for calming down.
Why would we need to calm down? Okay, go ahead.
To be regulated.
To be regulated. Does this help in our school? Absolutely. Go ahead. What did you have to say, TJ?
It makes you feel calm, focused, and regulated, and very calm. Makes you be focused and teaching and do the work and do your best you can.
I love that. I love that. What?
And then if you're tired,
If you're tired, you can go there too. If you're feeling in the blue zone, great job. So, whose classroom is this from? Miss Borland. Miss Borland. So, Miss Borland, can you talk a little bit about this part in your classroom?
Sure. So, I'm really loud. I'm really loud. So that is kind of the front of my desk, but what you can't see behind it is our area with our carpet and our pillows. We have a bean bag. We also have a bouncy chair that they sometimes like to sit in because if you're in the blue zone, you need to bring yourself up. So we kind of use the same things that Dr. Singleton's been talking about. We have been doing it, some of my students, for more than just this year. So they're pretty well versed in what zones they're in, what they need to do to get back to the zone that they want to be in.
Oh, that's great. I guess the last part did not get in. That's okay though. So right now, I'm just going to also let Ms. Robinson speak a little bit, because Ms. Robinson utilizes it in a different setting, the Refocus Room, which you guys have heard a lot about. It's where a room we've created in all of our elementary schools where students that need some extra support and some extra time to calm down. And you can talk about kind of what?
Extra help.
Extra help, yes.
It's assistance.
It's assistance.
So our Refocus Room is new this year, and it is designed for that 5% of kids with that social emotional behavior. So it's the top of the tier, and those friends come there and I help them calm down. I teach them how to calm down so that they can go back to their classroom and calm down within their classroom. I also give them zones lessons so that they can learn skills from that. We do a little bit of yoga in there to calm, and we just really, they can hike up or hike down depending on what they do. They sleep in there, they eat in there. It's really a different setting. It doesn't look like a classroom. It really looks calming and welcoming, and they can get social skills in there.
And we invite you to come over and see it because it's a pretty fantastic space. Have I left anything out, guys? Is there anything else that our friends here need to know about zones of regulation?
What
It
zone,
works.
what zone do you think they're in?
Take a look. What zone
Look
do you?
around. What zone do you think that they're in right now?
Green.
Green?
How do you know they're green, TJ? What is their face?
Their face is happy.
Their face is
I'll
happy.
pass around some of these so that you can kind of look and maybe you can feel a different zone that you're.
I have a good concrete example. TJ spent some time in my classroom each day. And today, since it was early release, we did a project throughout the whole day that ran across the curriculum. And they were building and using, or folding, I guess, whatever, paper airplanes as the final part. And TJ, how were you feeling when you were working on that paper airplane at first?
And blue.
You were a little bit in the blue. You were kind of frustrated, right?
Yeah,
And then
so
what happened? You were sad, yeah.
I asked Emmanuel to help me.
He asked a friend for help, and he even said, he even came to me and said, when I asked my friend for help, I got back in the green zone. And they finished it, so he was really using the strategies. It's kind of cool.
And we as teachers have been using the words too. Like even when you're feeling a little, we're like, I'm feeling a little dysregulated right now, or I need to go get something to eat. I'm feeling pretty blue, or things like that.
What do I do when I'm in the yellow zone or red zone? What do I like to do?
Breathe in.
Breathe in, breathe out. Yeah.
Up with me.
Oh, correct, deep breath.
Up with
You've got this
Up
rare
with
breath.
some deep breaths. I was catch out some deep breaths.
I took some deep breaths when I was mad, he said. So, do you guys have any questions for us, for our students?
When they go to the special room?
If you have one, raise your hand.
When you have the special room that they go to, about how long do they stay in there?
So like the refocus room,
Yeah,
if they're dysregulated, depending on how, like the level of dysregulation, it could be as simple as 10 minutes or it could be like an hour. It really just depends. We have to see when they come in.
Yeah.
So have you guys sent this like paper home so that they can set up a room and area in their own homes for these things?
We have sent it home to some of our families that have requested it. We had it available. I know a lot of our kindergarten families have asked for it, so we've given it out to a lot of kindergarten families. We have not given it out to everyone, but we can definitely give it out to more families. That's a great idea.
I could see kids
You won't
setting
want it
up
home?
little areas
Me
in their
too.
room with
Okay.
pillows.
Sometimes I get mad at home.
Sometimes I get mad at home.
Mad at them.
I like your honesty, Tia. Guess what? Sometimes I do too.
Any other questions?
Good job, guys. Very good.
Thank you so much, guys.
For all the call the parents that came here with us from the Buda School District. Would you want to stand up so we can recognize you and thank you for your efforts? What if they're grandparents?
Thank you. Board members, we have another school of the month with us. We have two this month. And so from Marvin, we have Principal Mr. Smith and Assistant Principal Miss Broadbent with Marvin staff and students.
Hi everybody, how are you? Good. So I brought a few of the students here from Marvin's school. They're going to actually present to you. They're going to be doing most of the talking tonight. We're going to be talking about our character education program at Marvin. And you'll probably notice if you are at the stoplight at Woodson and the Rock Road, you'll see our character word of the month is out there every day. You know, and so they're going to be talking to you a little bit about that. I'm just going to get them set up here real fast.
Hello, I am Rosie. Hello, I'm Christopher. Hello, I'm Megan. And I am Morgan. And we are fourth graders in the Skelton's class at Marvin. Marvin students meet every Wednesday in class meetings to learn about character education. We learn our character words of the month, have voice drinking lessons, and come together as a family. One of our character words is cooperation. A while ago we did an activity in class that we want to show you. I am going to hand the first person at the table something from this box, and your job is to pass it along all the way to the other end. The trick is you can't use your hands. You can use your elbows or arms, but not your legs. If you drop the object, the person next to you can help you, but don't use your hands. Do your best not to bend, drop, or break anything, and pass it along. Are you ready?
Yes. You might want to move your drinks forward a little.
Now we change. There we go. Stay on track. You guys are enjoying this, right? How's that? Mom, Dad, guess what we made the Board of Education do?
I like that set of hearts.
My son did a fight.
Does this look like it when we got started?
Where'd the water go?
You did your best and you were proud.
What?
Say it again, everybody.
Say it again.
Nice and loud.
I couldn't hear you.
You did your best and you were proud.
All right.
Thank you.
Which object required the most cooperation as you passed it along?
I think it was the little squishy.
That little brain, that little brain.
Every day we need to cooperate with others, but sometimes we need to really focus on working together in order to do the job right. It's important to cooperate with others even if we don't always agree. The better we cooperate with easy things, the better we can cooperate when things get tough. We hope that you have enjoyed our activity. Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
So did you all have to do this activity at school? And so what did you learn from doing it?
You learn that it takes a lot of people to like do what you're supposed to do.
Did anybody use your hands? Anthony, did anybody use your hands?
Have you met Anthony?
Anthony's in Good News Club.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah, so I see him every Thursday.
Yeah.
So how do these character activities help you in math? How do they help you in your reading classes? How does it help?
We cooperate with others, and even if we can't get along with them, we still find a way that we can work with them.
So do these activities just remind you about what you should be doing? Okay.
So you guys pass around the same things we did, or would you like?
We passed around different things like crayons and a Cheerio.
They
were each other. Oh,
Thank
it's
you for not
smashed.
bringing
Yeah. Did the Cheerio get smashed?
Yeah. We had to replace two,
I didn't replace you. How many people were there?
like about 19.
Oh, yeah, that's not bad.
So every Wednesday, you know, we encourage them to wear their orange Marvin shirts and really try to bring them together as a family, so that, you know, we can grow together and really, you know, just build that more of a family atmosphere with one another, you know, try to learn some empathy for one another. And what we do is we actually block out 15 minutes every Wednesday morning where every single class is participating in the character education lessons during that time, and our specialists actually push into classrooms and assist with the lessons. And the teams design them on their own, and so it could be bullying prevention lessons that they do, or the character education lessons, or something that might be really important for that class at that time.
All right, very good.
Thank you all.
guys.
Very good,
Yeah.
very good. Of course, can we again acknowledge the adult guardians that were able to bring these children up to us and let us learn from them. Could you stand up so we can acknowledge you? They didn't have you doing this at home, did they? All right. No practicing? You guys didn't practice at home? At school. Okay. That was fun, guys. Glad you didn't bring the Cheerio. Okay, thank you all for being here tonight. We're gonna move on. The report of closed session. The Board of Education did meet in closed session on October 12th, 2017 for the purpose of discussion of personnel agenda items. Then we move on to 1.07, which is public comments. Do we have anybody that wants to talk to the board? Hearing none, we'll move on to our reports. First report is the President's report. I have a few things to bring up. Okay, Joseph Otterberry, a 6th grade teacher at Hake Middle School, is the recipient of the 2017 Emerson Excellence in Teaching Award. The award recognizes St. Louis metropolitan area teachers for their vital role in shaping their students' lives. Last year, he was the school's 2017 Diamond Circle Teacher of the Year. He will be honored in a special ceremony this month at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, so congratulations. We are also pleased and excited to announce the new breakfast carts that have debuted last month in our middle and high schools, thanks to a $13,200 grant from the Midwest Dairy Council. Students can grab a free, quick, and healthy breakfast on their way to school, on their way to class, before the morning bell rings at high school, Hake, and Rittner Middle Schools. These carts allow us to have another service area in the school to ensure students are taking advantage of our breakfast program and benefits of starting the day with a healthy meal. Breakfast continues to be offered daily in school cafeterias around the district. And lastly, the Rittner District residents interested in filing for candidacy for the Rittner Board of Education election on April 3rd, 2018 may do so beginning 8 a.m. Tuesday, December 12th, 2017 at the Rittner Administrative Center, which is here downstairs. Candidate informational packets and filing guidelines will be available. Filing closes 5 p.m. Tuesday, January 16th, 2018. 2 positions will be on the ballot this year as the 1-year terms of current board members Tom Drennan and Lisa Glover Jones will expire April 2018. Both seats will serve 3-year terms. Mr. Drennan and Ms. Glover Jones are completing unexpired terms. Missouri law requires a person to be a U.S. citizen, at least 24 years of age, a resident taxpayer of the district, and to have resided in the state of Missouri for 1 year, immediately preceding the election. With the exception of the first and last day of filing, filing will not occur on legal or school holidays or on days the school district is closed due to inclement weather. And that concludes the President's report. Turning then to the superintendent and his report, Dr. Chris Kilbride.
Thanks, Dr. Thomas. Board members, I'd first like to thank you for your support and say congratulations on passage of the Proposition A tax levy. It was great spending time together with you at the watch gathering on Tuesday evening. Board members, at the December meeting, the business meeting, will be calling all members of the Citizens for Rittner's Future Committee in to recognize them in public. We did not reach out to them in advance of this meeting because we didn't want to count our chickens before they hatched and did not want to be presumptive, but I am very happy to report that at 64.5% yes vote, the community came out and very much supported the district. So thankful to be at work here in this community. We do have one member of the Citizens for Rittner's Future Committee in the audience. Ms. Leah Mosley is here with us. Ms. Mosley, thank you for everything that you've done. And we'll ask Ms. Mosley and the committee to be back in December to be honored and to be recognized. Also in my report, I'd like to call Dr. Stewart and her guests up to the board tonight. Hi, Dr. Stewart.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi. Board members, Rittner is one of several districts in the St. Louis region selected to partner with St. Louis University on a program that gives educators from Saudi Arabia a view of what effective education looks like in schools with a diverse student population in the United States. St. Louis University received a grant from the Saudi Arabian Ministry's Educational Improvement Initiative, a program that sends select Saudi professional educators to spend 6 months in school districts that are known for excellence in student performance in a diverse setting. During the program, Saudi educators work closely with St. Louis University education faculty and school district leaders with Dr. Stewart to study evidence-based practices, effective educational leadership practices, and running a school building. Based on their experiences, each participant in the program works on a major improvement project based on their experience in schools that they can then take back to their own schools, take back to their own country to improve outcomes for kids in Saudi Arabia. The Rittner School District is joined by a school district in Belleville, Illinois, joined by the Kirkwood School District, Melville, Pattonville, and Webster Groves as the only districts in the region participating in this initiative. Saudi participants observe, discuss, and reflect on effective school improvement initiatives and practices with highly effective principals. This partnership is through St. Louis University. It's also in effect at Kent State University in Ohio and also Oakland University, which, does anybody know where Oakland University is?
Michigan?
It's not in California, it's in Michigan. So, at Oakland University in Michigan. So, joining Dr. Stewart tonight, we have Amira Al-Taibi and Atir Al-Harbi.
Atir.
Is that close?
Atir, yes.
Atir. So, welcome tonight.
Thank you
Could
so
you speak
much.
to the experience that you've had in Rittner?
Yeah, it was very new experience for us, you know, to for me and for my family too, because you know we traveled 18 hours by plane from Saudi Arabia to here just to observe a new schools and to see the new strategies and new process. You know, we came here just to observe the good points in U.S. educational system and try to transfer these points to our educational system. So it's a very new experience for me and also for my daughters because they attend public schools and you know they speak English now better than before because you know from they start their day from 7 until 4:30 with American students, so they practice the language. You know, in Saudi Arabia we have just 4 periods a week, so for only a day for 45 minutes speak English. So I think this is a good opportunity for them, and we are so happy now. Yeah, we get more very nice experience through our visitings.
It's from our pleasure to involve with the schools, and from the first day we put our foot in the schools, we have more experience. We have more. We find the people here is helpful, and they can help us as much as they can. As Dr. Stewart and as Jennifer, they all of them help us. And the Claudia, which is she is in Pattonville High School. All the teachers try to help us, and the headmasters, they give us more information to, you know, as a vision of Saudi Arabia, it's to 2030 to improve our education. Yeah. So we come here as building leadership for change through school immersion, and we try to transfer all the skills, attitude, and positive things to our country. And I find the book that very useful. It's about 7 strategies for assessment. I have it from the Amazon, and I discuss it with Dr. Stewart. And I found it very useful. She did every week a meeting about this book, and they try to discuss all the plan and the assessment for the students. And they try to see if the results for the students is good. If it's not good, they try to do another plan for to take a best result for the students, and they fix everything. And I write my proposal about this book and about Dr. Stewart and how the district and more districts that we visit, and the book about the classroom environment. And Dr. Stewart told us about how evaluate the teachers. That is my role as I'm an English supervisor. So my role is as a headmaster here. So I evaluate the teachers and coach them, and she told me about all the systems that she used in her school and in the district. I found it in the website for Rittner, Rittner district.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have more things. Yeah, I wrote in my proposal many things about the environment, about the schedule, about how they plan everything, and we need this to do it in Saudi Arabia. And if we go back to Saudi Arabia, we will talk with our ministry to do more things. We have more things to change, to make change. And our role there to also to train or coach 5 teachers, and each 5 teachers will coach 5 teachers. It's like bird scheme or something.
Yeah.
So this will be separate for all the teachers around Saudi Arabia, and they send us to more countries than America. They send us more participants for Canada, Australia, and Finland, and UK, and USA.
Yes.
And it's from our pleasure to come here because we find the people here is very kind and helpful and agree and accept our culture. And most of the participants here really try to take the master and PhD to complete it here. They open the website and do the documents that they need because they decide to complete the master or PhD here.
Oh.
It's great. You can see they're so passionate about kids and learning, and it has been great to work with them. They just absorb everything, and then also they've given me some knowledge about their country and how they teach, in their country in Saudi Arabia, and their focus when they go back, what their focus is. And Amira is really about instruction, and her focus is to go back and talk about that PLC process. And then Athir is really working about, talking about school climate. Because when she came here, she's like, in Saudi Arabia, the teachers move from class to class. Like she's in the high school. Instead of the students moving class to class, and they can't decorate their rooms, and she wants the teachers to feel, that's what her goal is. And so they have those goals to go back and talk about.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope to change this when I go back.
So they're very passionate about it. They went to the International Welcome Center for a week. They were very excited about that because that is what they do. They teach English in a second language. So that was very instrumental for them to go over to the International Welcome Center. They wanted to go back. We just don't have enough time because their last day is tomorrow. And they're a little upset because the next group will have a year and they only had 6 months here. They're like, why? We've been here for a year. So it's been really great working with them.
Thank you so much.
They're so passionate about kids. So,
So we're very thankful to have you here in the Rittner School District. Board members, this is the first experience in this partnership with St. Louis University. I've checked in with Dr. Stewart throughout. Dr. Stewart, I appreciate her and her willingness to take this program on. And we wanted to test the waters here with a small group, a group of 2, to see if the experience would be positive. It's been very, very positive. So our hope is to expand this program, second semester of this school year moving forward, to involve more Rittner schools, to involve more educators from Saudi Arabia, so that we can really be that district that partners with the Ministry of Education in Saudi Arabia to be a district that helps to teach other educators, not just around effective instruction, but also about cultural crosswalks and about acceptance. So thank you for being the first 2 visitors to Rittner, and you're welcome back anytime. Thank you all.
and they have talked about, this is it, they've talked about since this program, girls in Saudi Arabia can have physical education now. And they couldn't before this program. So,
After this program, the participants before us told the ministry to hold this point, and they did.
They
So
accept.
we can,
Now we have PE in our school for the first time. Yeah, and also that we can drive. This is the main news. So thank you so much.
Well,
How long ago was it that you guys were able to start driving?
Driving after 6 or 7 months from now.
now try to.
You just training now and taking lessons,
Yep.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
And that concludes my report.
Okay, then we'll turn to the Legislative Advocacy Committee report.
Board members, the next meeting of the LAC is next Friday morning, a week from tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. Mike Lodewagen from the Missouri Association of School Administrators will be speaking to the group. The focus is on the upcoming legislative session, so he'll be giving a legislative update. There's not much in terms of pre-file legislation yet. Don't know that there will be much next Friday But I know that Mike and his team, they're anticipating what kind of filings will be coming up in the session. So there'll be some conversation around that. There'll also be conversation around helping the members of the committee to become effective advocates when we do have the chance to have conversations with legislators, with elected officials, how to talk in a way so that people will listen. Really, when we're talking with legislators, hearing the message coming from the superintendent is not the most effective avenue. If it's coming from citizens, if it's coming from members of the community, that's the most effective person that can share the message around what's desired from their elected officials. So Mike will be sharing some strategies to talk so that legislators will listen. We do expect all of our representatives and senators to be in attendance, and so any board member is welcome to attend. Do want to just draw board's attention to one thing. Yesterday there was a member of the State Board of Education. His name is Joe Driscoll. Mr. Driscoll resigned his position, so that marks the 5th member of the State Board of Education that Governor Greitens has now appointed. So Mr. Driscoll stepped down yesterday. He was replaced today by a man named Sonny Jungmeyer. Mr. Jungmeyer is from the Boot Heel of Missouri, and he will be sworn in at the next session of the State Board. So please keep your eyes peeled to the actions of the DESE board now. Now there is a majority of that board that has been put in place by Governor Greitens.
So Joe Driscoll was not appointed by?
He was appointed by Governor Nixon
Okay.
in, I believe, 2014. He stepped down due to job expectations changing positions. That concludes my report.
Okay, next report up is the Missouri School Board Association report, returned to Ms. Jennifer Lomas.
Thank you. I don't have much to report, but we'll go ahead and play our video for this month's board report.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the MSBA Board Report for the month of November. I'm Stone Phillips, and thanks for the opportunity to share.
Stone, that's quite enough. Thanks very much. Thank you. Wow. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MSBA Board Report for the month of November. We thank you for the opportunity to share some news and information during a few minutes of your board meeting. We begin with a look at the 2017 MSBA Annual Conference. More than 1,200 school board members and administrators from school districts throughout the state attended this year's annual conference held last month. The conference featured more than 130 breakout sessions on a wide range of topics designed to improve the leadership skills of board members and administrators. General session speaker Steve Constantino, the author of several books on family engagement, challenged those at the conference to involve all families in their children's education. He said that can be accomplished only after earning their trust.
And you can't demand trust. You can't legislate trust. You can't write policy your way to trust. The only way that you can get to trust that I know of is to earn it. My work is to build the capacity of schools to accept and value the fact that some of the best teachers we have are not on our payroll. And if we can harness that, great things will happen.
Another general session speaker was former NBC and ABC News reporter and anchor Stone Phillips, a graduate of Parkway West High School in St. Louis County. You saw him earlier as he attempted to anchor the opening of this program. He remembered a high school English teacher who taught him not just to write, but also to think critically.
You know, she had a favorite phrase. It was the uncomfortable middle. The uncomfortable middle. That's where she wanted us to be in our thinking. No more black and white, simplistic, childlike thinking. We were no longer kids. She wanted to expand our minds and have us embrace complexity, look for truth and the answers to her essay questions. in the rich, beautiful gray areas of human understanding.
MSBA presented Phillips with its Outstanding Missouri Public School Graduate Award following his remarks. Annual conference attendees also had the opportunity to hear from Natalie Hammond, the only adult survivor of the Sandy Hook tragedy that occurred in December of 2012. She shared her story of resilience in the aftermath of that elementary school shooting. She said it's critical that school leaders establish strong relationships before an incident occurs.
So having that communication, having that relationship where you know your law enforcement, oftentimes by first name, and they know you. They know the procedure, they know your safety plan. They're able to come in and do lockdowns with you during a given school day. Someone yesterday said, "You do the lockdowns while your kids are there?" And I said, "Absolutely, why would I not?" They have to know how to do it as well. And the cops come in and they do it just like they would normally do. They knock on the door, they identify themselves, they open up the door. Nice job, and then they commend them. Again, we're talking 3 to 10-year-olds in my building. So they are little people. So we talk to them about nice job, way to keep quiet. Okay, you'll listen for the announcement when Mrs. Hammond gets on and lets you know that you're done. But that's part of the process, and it's a relationship that we've built together.
Governor Eric Greitens has made his 4th appointment to the 8-member State Board of Education. The latest appointment is Tim Sumners of Joplin, who has worked as a church pastor and chaplain. The appointment comes following a statement by former appointee Melissa Gellner of Springfield, who says her appointment was withdrawn by the governor's office after she refused to vote immediately to remove current Commissioner of Education Margie Van Dieven and replace her with a candidate favored by the governor. 2 new members of the State Board of Education say they were not pressured by the governor's office to fire Van Dieven. Eddie Justice of Poplar Bluff and Doug Russell of Lebanon made those comments during the annual dialogue with the State Board of Education at the recent annual conference. All 4 new appointees to the State Board of Education are subject to Senate confirmation when the Senate reconvenes in January. A highlight of this year's annual conference was the Student Showcase, where students from 13 school districts were on hand to present and discuss innovative programs in their school districts, such as a robotics program from McDonald County, an augmented reality demonstration from Columbia, and a woodshop and furniture design program from Rolla. The MSBA Delegate Assembly met during the annual conference and approved the association's new advocacy positions document that consolidates 3 previous documents that contained MSBA position statements on issues related to public education. This new document will provide the basis for MSBA's advocacy efforts during the 2018 session of the Missouri General Assembly, as well as on the federal level. That's it for this month's edition of the MSBA Board Report. Thanks for allowing it.
That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you very much. Next report up is the Special School District report. Turns back to Station School. Al?
Good evening. All right, the next governing council meeting will be December the 4th. So I'll be coming up next month. There we go. I was looking at one of the things that we're going to be doing in the consent agenda, and I just kind of was reading through it because I thought it was kind of interesting with me being part of the special school district. Governing council and meeting with Don Bilhammond every now and then. And I just thought it was fascinating to see that the special school district early childhood special education agreement is based upon a reimbursement to the Rittner School District from special school district, from a grant. And when I was looking in there, what it's based upon is about $36,300. It's based upon shared space, dedicated space, utilities, custodial costs, supplies, and copier costs. I just wanted to point this out because it's kind of interesting to see that we really do have an interconnected relationship with special school district. Whenever we're having our children in our schools and receiving special school district help from the teachers, they have the
classrooms, it's even over in Marion when we have the gymnasium, that we really are interconnected. So I just kind of wanted to point that out, because I know I saw it on there as kind of one of the things that we're gonna be voting on for the agenda items. And I had the pleasure of going to Booter. I am going to be heading over to New Owner. We finally were able to get a date together so that we could go. It's been a little tricky to kind of get that date cemented. I have over here in the picture, you can see where they talked about the zones of regulations. That's what one of the calming zones is in the classroom. And the one that looks like a little tree house down there, which I thought was the cutest one, I think that was in the library. So it's happening in every classroom. It's kind of nice to see that. It's not just children with special needs. It's for all our kids that are in the class that happen to be maybe having a bad day or they're tired. One of the other things that I really thought was neat that I haven't seen in the other schools, and I know it's kind of funny, but I saw tennis balls on the bottom of the chairs, and it makes sense. Some kids that maybe are autistic are very sensitive to hearing, and so it cuts down on all the noise. And so you're in these classrooms, and the kids are moving, and you don't hear the chairs scraping at all in these classrooms. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It's one of those other things where they're modifying things within the classroom to really help these kids so that they can focus on what they're just learning. So it's December the 7th at 12:30 that we'll be heading over to the New Owner. And that concludes my report.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right.
Any questions?
Very good.
Thank you.
Look forward to hearing about the new high school. That concludes our reports. We're going to turn to our agenda items. And the first agenda item here is 3.01, or the Latin Honors Proposal. I return to Dr. Michael LaChance.
Board members, I'm happy to introduce Tiffany Bin and Eduardo Gomez. I remember speaking with them in, I believe it was September, about their plan, and they put a lot of thought into it. I'm going to turn it over to them, give them an opportunity to present their proposal.
Hello again. Thank you for being here to discuss this proposal. Okay, so as you know, I'm Tiffany Bin, 2018 class treasurer.
I'm Eduardo Gomez. I'm the 2018 class vice president.
So the RSD vision is in partnership with the parents and community. We want to develop leaders to recognize their academic excellence, to produce graduates who become productive citizens and lead lives of personal integrity and fulfillment.
So our mission is to create people who graduate from Radnor High School for them to be able to have an environment that enables them to be able to have critical thinking, to solve problems and develop knowledge and necessary skills for success in our diverse global society.
The current reality for the past 99 years, we have used the valedictorian, salutatorian custom. So we give a rank based on their GPA. So the top 10 students are recognized with a special luncheon, and then during graduation, the 2 highest ranking students are given the opportunity to speak at graduation, regardless of their involvement in the community.
However, we believe there is time for a change. The class of 2018 wants to propose a new ranking system, so it will be the Latin Honor System. It will be a new way to recognize people at graduation, and we will try to base our learning in a more learning-based focused learning instead of having too much competition, although we want healthier competition. So this basically means that we want to have the Latin Honor System instead of recognizing the top 10 students of the class.
So the benefits of this Latin honor system, as said before, we want healthier competition because we do want competition, but we just want it to be healthier. And then it also allows for students to continue down their desired career path. If you remember from the last meeting, the student I talked about, the really excellent student that couldn't take the weighted classes because she wanted to be a music major, and then recognizing a larger quantity of the student body so that the person who's ranked 11 wouldn't feel so out of place because they would still be in the summa cum laude, I think it is, and motivating students to aim for a higher subcategory, so if they're in cum laude, they would aim for something higher than that. And then it also allows for opportunities for a variety of graduation speeches, so the person speaking would be a representation of what the community of Radnor.
So the way we want to do this is we want to have 3 different categories, cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude being the highest. This will be based on the student's weighted GPA, and it will start at 3.25 and go above 3.8. What we're proposing is to have, as far as graduation, the ceremony of graduation goes, is we want to have competitive speeches, which basically means that the students from the summa cum laude and the magna cum laude will have the opportunity to submit a speech. It will go through a panel of English teachers. They will revise it and choose the best speech from each category. So we will still have 4 speeches. And that way we can have best quality speeches, because a lot of people don't even want to talk. And they are not necessarily forced into doing it, but they feel like it's a responsibility to do it. Also, we want to be able to display each category with sashes. So we want to have dark blue sashes for the cum laude category, representing knowledge.
And for magna cum laude, we'd have dark green depicting ambition.
And we'll have dark red symbolizing leadership for summa cum laude.
And to pay for these, we want the senior class to pay for them. And we would allocate money in the beginning of the school year, set aside for this at the very beginning of the school year to make sure we have it. But we said if we don't have enough money at the very beginning of the school year, then we would still recognize them at graduation with like an asterisk on the graduation pamphlet, and still have them stand up, magna cum laude, summa cum laude, and so on. And we'll do that for every single year. But if they have enough money, then we'll get a sash. So we'll just do it like that. And our proposed plan of transition, so the graduation class of 2018, 2019, and 2020 will recognize the valedictorian, salutatorian, and incorporate the Latin honor groups. And we'll still do valedictorian, salutatorian speeches and have the parent recognition beginning in 2021. And thereafter, we'll continue to recognize the Latin honor groups and then begin to incorporate summa cum laude speeches and magna cum laude speeches. This will give a good transition for parents in the community to understand what this whole summa cum laude and magna cum laude is. And at this time,
We will respectfully like you to consider this student body request and vote on this change.
So you've made this transition plan, so this would impact starting the current 10th graders?
9.
So it would be starting with the freshmen.
Yes,
So
correct.
2018, 2019, and 2020.
The Latin honors, that's when that would be enacted. Because the freshmen don't have a ranking, so it wouldn't really apply to them, for the Latin honors.
So starting with 2021, so the current 9th graders would be going under this new system?
Yes, correct.
When you say sashes, are you talking about actual sashes, not the little cords like the
Yeah.
other?
No, that's not my part.
I didn't do it.
SUV up front.
SUV. On the left?
SUV up
Okay.
front. What is it like?
Okay, well, that one has some range to it.
Have you taken any kind of like survey among, other than like, I think you said you talked to some of the people in your grade level, but have you taken the other?
Yeah, we did do the 2019 and 20.
Overall, the results show approval. A lot of the people, the survey had 3 options. I support it, I am against it, and I am neutral. A lot of the people who said they were neutral, they had the option to add a comment, and a lot of them said that they weren't sure of what it was. So we just have to make sure that they know what it is.
And I made sure to go talk to the classes, and I went and talked to a lot of sophomores and juniors, and I made sure to get them to know what Latin honors, because a lot of them didn't know what it was.
Sure.
So I talked to them, and after they finally realized what it was, they said, "Oh, that's a really good idea." So that they are. So I feel like if I sent out the survey again, they'd be more on board with it.
Sure.
How would this look to the general public, like hiring managers and personnel directors of companies, when they look at their student population? Would it have a broader level of high achievers than it would be in the past?
No, so the way it will work is the counselors will still be able to say, okay, this was a very like the #1 person in their class, but we won't be recognized at graduation based upon that. That's the stress that we want to eliminate.
Okay, thank you.
So do you think that this would help with the problems of, like you guys say, staying up till 2 and 3 in the morning and taking 5 and 6 weighted classes? Would that even change that, or?
You have some
is it-
supporters shaking
Yes,
their head out there.
Yeah,
I know what's going on. You guys are still gonna be driven to get
yeah, I personally, I wouldn't be taking like 5 AP classes right now if I had this already like enacted, because I really want my GPA to go up, and getting a weighted GPA of 3.8 to get to summa cum laude wouldn't be that hard, so I wouldn't have to take 5 AP classes. So I think this would have alleviated a lot of stress for me. So I think this would help the next years, so this is really good for them, so on.
Do you think you would have taken classes that you want to take instead of what you feel you have to take?
Oh, definitely, because I really wanted to be an EBD, and I didn't get to take that this year, so.
Can you, what is that class?
Engineering, development, and design, yeah.
So why didn't you get to take that class?
I
I know, I want to heard it.
because I'm doubling in, math and science and, I don't know, AP physics.
Okay, so you're taking things
Band.
to help your weight
Yes,
instead of things that you're interested in.
yes.
And when you guys say healthier competition, you guys talked about this when you came to us, but I want everybody to hear it too, again. You guys stated that when you're talking about working with others and trying to get other people to help you maybe on somewhere you need help, people were reluctant to help because they don't want your GPA
Yes.
going up higher than theirs.
Yeah,
I mean, they won't say it, but,
So you don't,
But you feel it.
yeah, no, you can feel it.
so you feel that that's where the
Yes.
healthier competition comes into play, is that you would be working together more than?
Yes, for sure.
And also in addition to that, it wouldn't necessarily be, you will be competing against other people to be #1, but instead you will be competing against yourself to motivate and like give the 100% you need to be in the highest category that you can. So it's not necessarily for everybody to be in the highest category, but it's in the highest category that they can possibly be in. So that's what we'll motivate the student body.
What would you say to the group that would come here in 2 or 3 years and say, you know, we really want to go back to the valedictorian, salutatory method? We think that would be better. What would your advice to them be?
To go back? To go back to valedictorian solution?
Yes.
Well, that-
Well, as you guys here are now advocating going one way,
Yeah.
because of the reasons and things that you have experienced. If in 3 or 4 years, there's a group similar to you sitting here saying, we would like to foster more competition, we think competition is good, thus, we think we should go back the other way to the valid
What would we
self.
say to them, or how would we support
What,
them?
what would you say to them? What advice would you give them?
Personally, I don't think that I will give them any advice because I don't have any advice to give them. I think that instead I will ask them to look at the bigger picture. Because for me personally, I am in the top 10. Like I've said it before multiple times, I'm number 8, and I'm stuck in number 8. But that after I graduate, that number is not gonna matter. So all of the work that I have been doing right now, it's not gonna matter. And if I took the regular classes, I will probably have a 4.0, but I don't have a 4.0, I have a 3.8 because I've gotten multiple B's in weighted classes just because they were weighted. So if I knew that because I know how much I can handle, but I know that if I don't take those classes, I'm not gonna be as high as I could be in my GPA. So I think that will just ask them to look at the bigger picture and not necessarily think about yourself.
Yes.
Because I'm in the top 10, I will still be recognized if we didn't make this change, but I feel like it will help the district in general. It will motivate people to get better grades, which would eventually help with our accreditation as well, because a lot more people will have higher GPAs and stuff like that.
Along with that, like, think about everyone else rather than just think about yourself, because that person, like, I'm ranked 16, so being in a bigger group would make me feel better than thinking about, oh, I'm so close to being in, the top 10. So,
It's about recognizing more students.
yeah, and that's the whole thing, recognizing more students. And being a class officer, you really gotta think about the whole student body. And that's my goal here, is thinking about everyone, not just myself. So.
And I think that was
Being
what you were
selfless,
kind
I
of
guess.
pointing at, is, I think then that gives a better opportunity for people to see in the community that we have a lot of great
Yeah,
students.
we just don't want to say, well, there's 2 good students in our district. We want to know there's a lot of good students in our district.
And another thing is that many students will take, for example, AP English. 1818 is a really hard class. And it's a lot of work, and if you know that you're not 100% good, it takes a lot for you to say, you know what, I'm not taking it. Even if it's weighted, I know that I'm going to get a 4.0 instead of a 5.0, but I know that I cannot get an A in that class. I know that I'm not going to grow as a person. I know that I'm not going to grow academically, so I'm just not going to take it. It takes a lot. Me personally, I probably wouldn't have taken 1818 if it wasn't weighted, just because, well, many of you guys don't know this, but I came here to America a couple years back, and so I'm still working on my English, and so I just feel like 1818 is not a class for me. However, I'm still taking it, and I'm still taking it for college credit, just because I know it's weighted and it will help my GPA.
To answer my question, because I was thinking it would give you the opportunity to take more challenging classes, but not so concerned that you absolutely have to get an A. in
Yeah,
the
it
class.
will motivate you to take the classes that you are ready for, and not just have to work extra hard.
You still get college credit, which is great.
Yeah, but I feel like I will be growing more as a writer specifically if I was in a regular English class
Right.
in 1818.
Learning at the pace that I should be learning.
Yeah,
Sure.
because even though I know that I can handle it, it's just a lot of extra work. And if you combine, if you multiply that times
With
7,
all the
then
AP classes.
yeah, I need like 48 hours in one day.
Yeah.
I don't have 24.
I know, I've been wondering about you guys sleeping since your last report.
I guess to sum it up in what we talk about a lot in business and everything else is there's a work-life balance. And for you it'd be a student-study life balance. And it's important for you to enjoy going to school and being with your friends now because there's only a limited time and you know that once you graduate you're headed 1,000 different ways. So if this gives the student body or students like yourselves that student life balance, then that's a good thing.
And I think it's just, you spoke about at the beginning of your presentation, the way that it's been done in the last 99 years. So this is a significant change and nobody is taking this lightly. And I think the fact that you, 2 students, 2 leaders of Rittner High School are presenting this change to the Board of Education to make a change after 99 years, that is a big deal. And kudos to you for standing up and seeing an issue that's not just about you all, but is about all the students at Rittner High School. I think you're doing absolutely the right thing, and I'm glad you're here tonight. And I would like to just add one thing. The idea of raising money so that you're sustainable for the sashes, if the board votes to approve this tonight, appreciate your fundraising efforts and want to stay with you in that. But if the board approves this, then we lock that in, and that has to happen with the sashes. And so if there's a positive vote, we'll want to talk offline here, because the idea that if the senior class just doesn't raise enough money that it wouldn't happen, that can't be what it is. So not only would we be doing the sashes, but we would be doing the sashes the way you specify here with the specific colors. So if there's a yes vote of the board, we'll have to coordinate on that.
Good thing we passed that Prop A.
Yeah.
No pressure here.
President, would you accept the motion?
Absolutely.
I'd like to move that we approve the student proposal to transition to the Latin honor system of recognition at graduation.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions of these 2 student leaders we have here? If not, let's call the vote. Ms. Glover-Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Greco?
Certainly.
Ms. Lotus?
Definitely yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Dr. Alvin?
Yes.
I'll make it unanimous, absolutely, yes,
Thank
and
you so
thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you.
You have now started a new tradition.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We weren't all here around when this thing started.
Dr. Hopper, do you have anything to say about your student leadership group here?
I do. You made the right decision, and you know, Tiffany was very nervous before she went up there, but they both did an awesome job. Thank you. I'm very proud of them. Good presentations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hopper, for your leadership in this cause and with these kids.
Thank you.
Now, Tiffany and Eduardo, you need to come back in 10 years.
Of course.
And
In
show
20
us-
years.
Not
and show
99
us what
years.
you're leading.
I will be a project manager by then.
There you go, I like that.
Right. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you all very much.
Appreciate it a
Thank
lot.
you. Go home and get some sleep.
I have homework to do, so I can't.
I knew that. You're up to the challenge, all right? Okay. Next item is our comprehensive school improvement plan for 2017 to 2018.
Thank you. As I present the 2017-18 comprehensive school improvement plan, you'll notice it's a pretty sizable document in board docs. It includes all of the building action plans that you heard of in October from our building leaders, but also all of the action plans from our departments at the district office. And just wanted to remind the board that the action plans are based on the goals and strategies that were established. The goals and strategies were approved by the board in 2015, based on lots of feedback from students, parents, teachers, support staff, community leaders, throughout the district. It took a course of a whole year. We began in the spring of 2014, which led to the board approval in the spring of 2015. So those goals and strategies are staying consistent from 2015 to 2020 was our commitment. But the action plans change annually based on our results. We also have some latitude to tweak them or adjust them every 30, 60, 90 days based on the progress or sometimes lack thereof. So the goals and strategies, again, we had 3 goals. The first goal being every student meeting or exceeding the state standards or demonstrating improvement, as well as meeting their personal, academic, and career goals. And these are the strategies that were developed at the time. Goal 2, every student graduating from Rittner High School prepared for college or career. And since then, we've further defined that is with the 3 E's, employment, enlistment, or enrollment. And those are the strategies associated with that goal. And then goal 3, the 90/90 attendance goal. So you heard from our building leaders in October, and those action plans are included in the comprehensive school improvement plan. And these are just some of the actions that you heard of in October as the building leaders shared their initial achievement data compared to the same time frame in the previous year. And they talked about their specific actions related to PLC data team development, math-specific professional development going on at all levels, and trauma-informed practices, just to name a few. You'll notice in the department goals there are many, each department has an action plan associated and aligned to the goals and strategies. Actions such as ensuring an on-budget transportation service is very important, particularly for this year, our first year out of the gates. Continuing effective communication engagement to advance district initiatives, which we found that Doug Gray's office did a fantastic job with that leading up to our Prop A. That was one of his department's goals. Developing virtual online education options for Rittner High School students, and I'll speak a little bit more about that next month in the program evaluation preview. There's also these are just samples, and you'll find many within the document. Continuing that trauma-informed schools implementation and increased district-wide mindfulness programs, and our students spoke of that tonight. Supporting building leaders in implementation of teacher evaluation and coaching practices is an HR example of an HR department action. And then finalizing the district safety security assessment and beginning implementation of high priority items is an example of an action plan from Mr. Whelan's department that is very important to him that he's working on this year. Again, these are just a few samples of the department action plans that are part of our comprehensive school improvement plan aimed at supporting buildings and supporting the district in meeting those three goals. In summary, the comprehensive school improvement plan goals and strategies were developed with staff, students, and parent input. The action plans are aligned with goals and strategies, and we do make sure that they're measurable. You'll notice that in each of those department documents as well as the building documents. They are monitored every 30, 60, 90 days. They're intended to address improvement needs, and they're aimed at achieving ultimately the Rittner vision. With that, I'm asking for your approval of the 2017-18 Comprehensive School Improvement Plan.
Is there any questions or comments for Dr. LaChance?
I move to approve the 2017-18 district CSIP plan as presented. Does the P stand for plan?
What's that?
I said, doesn't the P stand for plan?
Yes.
Okay, so the plan as presented.
Sorry.
I second.
Yeah, motion and a second. Are there any questions on the plan? Plan? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Dr. Up?
Yes.
Mr. Bebb?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
Ms. Lowe's?
Yes.
Ms. Greco?
Yes.
Ms. Glover-Jones?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good job.
All right. Moving on to 3.03, Rittner Middle School stairway proposal.
Tread lightly.
Okay. I'm surprised that it didn't time out. That happens to me.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, as you know, we moved our gifted program over to the assembly room at Rittner Middle. And at least all the years that I've had the honor of working with the district, it's always been really an adult space, a meeting space. And now with elementary and students there, we very quickly determined that in order for the students to have a playground area, a grassy area, they'd have to tumble down a hill. And I just can't believe in all these years we've never had that issue. So what we did, we put sealed bids out to construct a stairway, if you will, to go down so that the students can go down to the lower field. We received bids on the 5th of October from 4 general contractors. The low bid of $19,700 was submitted by Jackson Building Group. It does include a 5% contingency of $933. After a thorough review, we found that the proposal complied with the whole all project requirements specified in the RFP. Jackson Building Group has bid work for Kuba and Newt as well as us for previous project, though they have not done any work for us. Their references are very favorable. They are a union company. And this project is budgeted within the maintenance department's 2018 operational fund. It is our recommendation that the board accept the low bid submitted by Jackson Building Group of $19,700 for the scope of work detailed in the manual, project manual, and with your board approval, and everybody's gonna grin when I say this, weather permitting.
I was gonna ask.
Because for many, many projects, I always put that caveat in. We hope to have this completed prior to the start of the second semester.
Well, nowadays, import concrete full,
Ready for a motion?
yes,
Move to approve the low bid submitted by Jackson Building Group, $19,700 for the scope of work included for the construction of a stairway at Rainier Middle School as recommended.
A second.
okay. Yeah. Motion and a second, are there any other questions on this? Motion? Seeing none? Call vote. Ms. Lonis?
Yes.
Ms. Greco?
Yes.
Ms. Clover Jones?
Yes.
Dr. Alvin?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
I'll vote yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have steps. Well, we have a plan. We have a plan to get us there, right? Okay. Next thing is 3.04, which is talent acquisition report, 2017-2018.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So the purpose of this report tonight is to provide you with an overview on the new staff that we brought into the district this year, both teachers and our support staff, as well as to give you some of the current demographic information overall for the district. We brought a total of 77 new staff members into the district this year, actually one more than we did last year. However, much of that was bringing transportation in-house, accounted for most of those positions. We actually brought in 20 fewer teachers than we did last year overall and 3 fewer administrators. So that support staff going up over like 23 overall was the total shift, but most of that was our bus drivers in addition to the transportation department. Looking specifically at our certificated staff, so this would be our teachers and administrators, put a couple slides in here just to give you information about that group. The first one demonstrating that we're able to continue to attract people with a variety of education levels. So we're not only hiring first-year teachers, but you see we have a large group there with their master's degree, 3 with their master's plus 30, and then our new assistant principal at the elementary level with his doctorate. The next 2 slides I actually added after the work session last week when we were talking about the Grow Your Own idea and how a lot of our teachers tend to stay and work in communities where they were close to. So I wanted to share some information we have in the past. A list here of the colleges and universities that our new teachers and administrators came from. See a lot of them here locally, also several out of state. But it's, I think, important to highlight, you see 7 there from University of Missouri St. Louis, the 3 at Fontbonne and Maryville, that those are universities that we partner closely with, so you see that we are attracting, able to bring those teachers into the district. This next one shows you of the 31 staff members just where they went to, the St. Louis question, where did you go to high school? But you see that 18 of them were in the St. Louis area, whether in the city or in the county, 3 elsewhere in Missouri, and then 10 teachers came and joined us from outside the state of Missouri. And then we hired 2 grads this year. Amber Chaidez, who is at Luder teaching 3rd grade, and then Rachel Hamilton, who is at Luder High School teaching English language arts. And as I shared, this is again, the years of experience that we do have 15, so about 50% of the group is in their first year of teaching. But then on the other end, we also have 6 people coming with 9 or more years of experience. So again, we're attracting people not only beginning their education career, but people that are bringing quality experience to the Whitmer School District. This next slide shows our comparison by salary plan of the new employees brought into the district, the racial ethnic breakdown. We'll see that we had an increase in our minority hires in our child nutrition, our support staff, and our transportation department. With teachers, though, that was about the same as last year. It actually went up 1%. Last year, 8% minority, 92% white. So the shift that we did overall recruit more minority candidates. However, it was primarily in our support staff positions, not in our teaching positions. This next graph just shows you that visually. I'm breaking down a little bit the support staff to show you our new nurses. We have 3 new nurses this year, 2 office professionals, and then our teacher assistants in the breakdown within the regions. Overall, from our new hires, 55% white, 45% minority, and that is a shift. Again, last year at 89% white, 11% minority. That again, I'll point out, is not because of a more diverse teaching staff, it is primarily from our support staff. So the next set of slides, I'll go through a little bit quickly, but what it shows you is the comparison of our overall student demographics in the building, racial and ethnic, to our teachers. Where you don't see in addition or subtraction, there was no change. So early childhood was the same as last year. If we were to see a 3% increase in our African American teachers in the building, went down 3%.
Teachers went down 3%?
Correct, so these slides are specific to the teaching staff. Island, see an increase, number of white teachers, decrease number of African American teachers. Pratt's, we went down in number of Hispanic, went up Asian and white. In general, when you see these percentages, often we're talking about 1 or 2 people because of the numbers in the buildings. And with rounding, sort of the number size with that 1%. Marion, decrease of 7%, and white went up 7%, African American. Marvin, a 1% change. Wyoming went down, Hispanic and Asian, went up with teachers.
So the students, we don't know if those changed, right?
No, I didn't include that in there, just when her report last month, went over that.
Yeah.
I can include that in the 82% shift between white and African American. A little bit of shift across the board. You'll see all of these are nominal, they're small changes also. And then with our high school, down 1%, African American, and up 1%, the Hispanic. Overall, this shows the 3-year trend of the entire teaching staff throughout the district. And again, just shows that pretty even for the most part. So we went a 1% decrease in the number of African American teachers in the district, went up 1%. Like last year, that shift we went up just, I think it was 2 people with our African American teachers. And that same data broken out by level, there was no change at the early childhood center or the middle schools overall. A 2% change at the elementary level and a 1% change at the high school. So you see, when we think about our goals, it continues to be around specifically our teachers and the sports. This is district-wide, our ethnicity by staff for all positions within the district. We had a 3% overall increase in African American staff members in the district, a 2% decrease with white employees. Again, transportation department, and well, not just transportation, office professionals, and teacher assistants. And there was no change when it came to our gender breakdown. We continue to be 75% female and 25% males throughout the district. So our next steps are similar to what they were last year, but to be honest, for me, it's a shift in focus as well as I was learning the role last year. The recruitment piece wasn't my #1 priority, whereas this year we were able to shift a little bit more at that. We brought on our new talent tool last year for screening teachers to come into the district that we feel was a positive process, expanding that this year and trying to be more proactive and doing it a little bit earlier in the year. Being targeted around the colleges and universities that we're working with. We've identified the local ones that have strong relationships with, and it shows that we're getting teachers from there. And what we've done is we've also worked to identify several historically black colleges and universities that have large teacher education programs. The #1 program in the country actually being in Nashville at Tennessee State, where I spent a lot of time. And so attending a job there this year, as well as looking at Alabama and Georgia, who do some joint job fairs in the spring. And also have a large number of graduates who are coming back to the St. Louis area, so that we can also tap into, talked with Ms. Clever Jones last year, the alumni bases that could be here, as well as going down there and doing a little bit of recruiting in one trip. A lot of it's just getting out there and spreading the word about it. As we talked last week, being a great kept secret, how are we sharing that out there with our recruitment? Mr. Lindhorst also talks to us a lot about ISU being headed towards Chicago, but a lot of graduates there that they're close enough to Chicago to come to the St. Louis area.
What's the college in Nashville?
Tennessee State University is there and is the #1 of historically black colleges and university has the number of teacher graduates in the country.
Huh.
And being a 4.5-hour drive, we hope that St. Louis is close enough. Continuing to work on our relationships with those universities. So we have a strong relationship with both Bonbon, Maryville, and UMSL, and you saw from those numbers that those teachers are joining us. This year, Maryville, actually working with Dr. Greenstein and Dr. Stewart, is bringing all of the pre-service teachers to visit the Rittner School District and making sure that as part of the freshman and sophomore experiences, that students are getting into more diverse locations and using Rittner as an opportunity to get their students here and have more student teaching within our district. Looking at the Destiny Grow Your Own model, I think we have a lot of opportunities. We worked with Dr. LaChance and our career pathways within the district to look at how we could identify students who are interested in that career pathway as students. And in the model, what they do is they explore different options for scholarship opportunities, early professional development opportunities to keep the students connected and hopefully have them come back to Rittner as teachers. And then maximizing our student-teacher opportunities. So make sure that the people that are in our district are getting interviews with us or having observations from somebody from either human resources or the building administrator in a supportive manner so that we have a connection and know who's here and know who we can tap internally that we want to stick around and join us. As well as looking at the professional development opportunities we're already doing in the district. So thinking about the amazing work around trauma and assessment for learning. We're already doing the professional development. Why not offer that to the pre-service students who are out of local colleges and universities? It would really be no additional cost to us and would benefit those students and get them exposed to Rittner and just begin to build that candidate pool. Because ultimately, we don't collect demographic data on applicants, but as we looked at the people that we screened and interviewed, it wasn't necessarily about not hiring diverse candidates, it's getting diverse candidates to even apply to the district and engage in the process. And I think that it's bigger than just recruiting and job fairs, but also thinking about maybe some of our biases internally about hiring and decisions we make. And when we think about what reputations that are out there, getting people to consider Rittner and know that we support diverse candidates, we want them here, and that we put structures in place to help make sure that they're going to be successful within the district. It's not going to be a quick fix, but I think that's a great 3 to 5 year plan to continue to bring. We want the best teachers possible, but also we want teachers who also do reflect our student population within the district.
Do we think about having some kind of relationship or partnership with Harris Stowe?
We have. We attend their job fairs and they come here, but it isn't a university that we've looked at the same level as some others. So there's definitely an opportunity there, I believe. We started last year taking some of our middle school students down. It actually happened to a tweet exchange. They saw that we're taking students to UMSL and they responded back to me saying, well, how can we get you to come here? And we responded, and so we had students go down there and visit that university. So I think there's an opportunity there. So we feel that we hired a strong group of teachers this year. We're getting positive feedback from our principals, from Ellen Gilliam, who works with all of our new teachers. But we need to continue to work on the plan for identifying and attracting diverse candidates to our district. Any questions?
So one of the things we talked about, or have talked about in our last year's meeting, what are we finding out from our current diverse staff? Because generally they have a network of educators that they kind of work with, as well as they reach out if they're having issues in their own district to find out, hey, what are you all doing over there? Here's what I'm running into. So are we talking to our current diverse staff to see, do you know of anyone? Who are those networking groups? What are your experiences here? How do you feel supported? Because as you mentioned that kind of tapping into some of our own biases and being aware of, what does the Rittner name look like in the community versus it being, yes, if they're not applying, then there may be a reason behind that.
And we have not tapped into the current teaching pool. That's something we can definitely do here in the next couple of months before we begin interviewing. We did add some specific questions to the exit interview process last year to try to determine if there were factors related to that causing people to leave, and there was nothing clear. We did have leadership leave over the last couple of years, diverse group of leadership, and we wondered if that was an impact. For the most part, it was people exploring other opportunities for their own growth and leadership, not specifically because of anything negative that had happened here. However, one thing that did come up that we'd like to explore is if we have diverse candidates who are coming in, are we finding mentors to work with them who might also be diverse candidates? And then do we also offer opportunities for people of color potentially to come together for their own onboarding groups, so that what are other things you might be experiencing as being a new employee at Rittner that other groups might not, just to have another support network within the district. I think that is important to look at those things, especially given the small number of minority teachers, especially we have in the district. Not only recruiting and getting them to come, but then making sure that we keep them here in the city.
The report.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And while you're there, let's go to 3.05, is a personnel recommendation.
Every month, I think it's our last personnel report until the spring, but we always have a couple of things come up. So I do have personnel items 1 through 7, and request your approval of tonight. Answer any questions you may have about these recommendations.
What if we don't want to approve somebody who's on this list? Just teasing. I move to approve personnel recommendations as presented, 1 through 7.
Second.
Okay, do we have any other questions on the 7 being brought to the board? Hearing none. Call vote. Mr. Gardy?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Dr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Better Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Greco?
Yes,
Ms. Lois?
Yes.
I guess.
Are you sure?
She's very.
15 years with a wonderful school district, and 5 children have graduated from Rittner, but I need to start a new chapter in my life.
We appreciate everything you've done for us and for our kids. Enjoy.
I will.
And I'll vote yes. Thank you. Next thing, board members, we're to 3.06, board member comments. And last week at our work session, I'll start this, last week at our work session, we talked about next month's board meeting, which is, I said, board meetings in conflict with the holiday concert, or the holiday concert is in conflict with the board meeting. However we want to say it, we have 2 things that we would like to be at about the same time. And at that time, I said that we discussed it at this part of our meeting, and I'll just throw this out and say that if we start our meeting at 6 here in the boardroom, move some of the agenda items to a special meeting after the work session, then we can make this a short, sweet, to the point kind of business meeting and be out of here in time to drive down the road to the high school, where we have arranged, or can arrange, to have everyone park in the quadrangle. Door open, we can walk right in and go right into the auditorium through the cafeteria and field house. So, any other suggestions? Bring them forth, let's discuss them, let's put some thoughts out, come to a consensus, and go from there. I think we should be able to get there in time. We've got express parking, we've got express doors. One more thing, I'm sorry. To ask Chris to, Jennifer, this is Jennifer's idea, so I can't take credit for this. Have some seating reserved for us so that we actually have somewhere to sit, preferred seating, so that we can Watch this, if everyone wants to go. Payne, would you have?
I was just gonna say, what about meeting at the high school? Would that be a problem that night?
Well, we talked about that a little bit, and we're gonna have a school of the month, we're not sure what it is, but then we'd be asking the parents of the kids for the school of the month
All right.
to navigate all that up there.
I didn't think,
So we thought that'd be a little bit much asking the parents to do that.
We figured we could find our way quicker and probably easier than they could. So we can get done in like 50 minutes.
Now, if you notice, they were both very well on time tonight, but neither here nor there. Our school of the month people work hard to present it to us, and they're very concise and understanding. So throw that out to you. Think about it. Got anything that you thought of that's better? I'd bring it out. Let's talk about it. Other than that, I think that would work. We just gotta keep on task, and we'll try and have some of those things that we can vote on in after, special meeting after our work session. We can do that then, and then take care of the other business on the business meeting.
Sounds good.
Are we all right?
Yep.
Okay, it's a plan. We'll work out the details. All right. Does anybody else have anything else for the good of the board?
Yeah, I wanted to let everybody know that, when I went to vote at Rittner Middle, the change worked out good, Mike.
Good.
Yeah, and I didn't know that they had that gifted sign up there where you walk, and that looks really cool. Yeah, that looks really cool.
Our students made that.
They did?
High school students.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool. Looks really nice.
Kids.
Uh-huh. Oh, the Amped kids did? Oh, that's neat. And then, just announced that the, Rittner Community Choir is having their concert on Sunday at 3, and the leadership class is hosting a dinner for senior citizens so that it will end right when our concert starts, so that they can come. So I thought that was a good idea. Mm-hmm.
This Sunday?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So.
Is it the Overland dinner, or is it,
Is
who's
it
the
what?
dinner, who's the dinner for?
Senior
Seniors?
citizen.
Of what area?
I don't know.
Okay.
Whoever it is at the leadership class does,
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, all good things. As always, coming up on this season of many activities and gatherings, if we know of any that the rest of us don't know, please send out an email, send a note to Chris and Michelle so that we can all enjoy these things and go to our schools and see the great and wonderful things that our kids are doing and learning.
Do we have a schedule somewhere of everything?
It's all on the district calendar, I can put one together, I have most of them were on the Brad's report from last month.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
Or last week.
Okay.
So a holiday schedule.
Yeah, just
Yes,
a holiday
please.
schedule, so we
Yeah.
can kind of
Actually,
bounce
Doug,
around.
don't you do a holiday schedule every?
Michelle Mueller's collecting that now, so I'll have that
Yeah.
available.
Yeah, if it's for holiday schedule, Doug's department will have one on their website, but we could send it to you.
Please email that out to us.
Absolutely.
The fall play is in December this year too, and it's a Christmas carol.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
The 9th and 10th, I think, or 8th and 9th, something like that.
7th and 8th?
Yeah, it could be, well, the 4th is
No,
Monday.
8th and 9th.
8th
It's the 8th and
yeah,
9th.
yeah.
Very good.
Like 4, 5, 6, 7, no, because the 4th is a Monday. The 4th is a Monday, so you 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It's Friday,
Friday,
Saturday.
Saturday,
Yeah, it should be
yeah.
Friday, it should be
I
Friday,
thought that they
Saturday.
usually did a Thursday in there too.
The
The
choir
musical
does,
will.
musical
The
does, but
musical
not
will.
the other one.
All good things.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the consent agenda items. We have 4.01 through 4.06.
consent agenda items 4.01 through 4.06 as presented.
And a second.
The motion and a second on our consent agenda items. This time I'll call the vote. Ms. Glover Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Greco?
Sure.
Ms. Lonis?
Yes.
Mr. Alvin?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Garden?
Yes.
I vote yes. Consent agenda items are approved. Next thing is a closed session.
Make a motion to reconvene in closed session per state statute 610021 for the purpose of the discussion of personnel agenda items.
Second?
A motion and a second. Call the vote. Ms. Lonis?
Yes.
Dr. Alvin?
Yes.
Mr. Garden?
Yes.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Ms. Greco?
Yes.
Ms. Glover Jones?
Yes.
I will vote yes. We are now in closed session. Well, we take a 5-minute recess, come back in 7, we'll start all over again.
You say we'll take a 5-minute recess, come back and.
I was wondering if anybody listened.
We did say that.
Because you know that's actually what happened, right?
Yes. Might as well say what's gonna happen. That's why I'm not.